So when we first moved down to London, we started recording some acoustic material, just demoing it, really trying to record some songs. We put some adverts up and tried to find other musicians. Ended up meeting Ellie, who was playing with a band called The Tweed at the time. I think we both had quite similar ideas about the sort of music we wanted to make, so Ellie got on board. And then Kat heard the story a million times told that I bumped into Kat on the tube. She was just carrying a cello and we were desperate for a cellist, and I went and kind of scribbled down my name and the website of the band and said please get in touch, and we did, which was really good news for us. So you turned it.
We're a bit of a mishmash, really. Yeah. We've kind of fallen together, which is great, and we all get on reasonably well most of the time.
Yeah,
no, it's a good group. It's a good mix of people.
It had the feel of a collective, I think.
Yeah,
and then
it's grown, hasn't it, over time?
And grown.
Yeah.
The Escape Artists might well be one of them.
Yeah, and Bet Your Blood as well.
Yeah,
I think that's probably one of the ones that really worked on together as a team, isn't it? Yeah, definitely. Doesn't get played very often now, but it's a good song.
We're currently recording that. I think our first album was much more about this sense of hope in everything, but this album has kind of become a lot more energetic and frantic, and dealing with ideas of kind of seizing the day, and yeah, it kind of feels in a weird way a lot more positive, which is odd for us because we don't necessarily put that vibe out all the time. but yeah, it's all about the importance of communication as well, and just how people kind of relate to each other now. And that's really important for us to all kind of get through it, I think.
We're pretty good. I mean, we rehearse at least once a week, twice a week if we can, and we have a set routine. It's the only way you can try and get 7 people in the same room at the same time. It's quite a difficult thing. You know, people are very busy. You know, they have other lives to lead, but you know, to get us all together. But it's usually quite a. There's a number of songwriters in the band who will bring in an embryonic idea, and then we'll explore it together, and it sort of evolves after bashing it through a few times.
Bashing each other
a few times.
I think with this album as well, there's also been a lot more using the studio much earlier on in the process, whereas with the first album we had songs that we've been playing for a long time, which I suppose most bands do by the time they get to that first album. And with this one, the ideas weren't complete for most of the songs before we started going into the studio. We've been working out arrangements and kind of rehashing stuff in the studio. And
we haven't stopped, you know, we're still writing. There's still like 3 or 4 songs that we've still not finished, so you know, it's an ongoing process. So how many of them will actually end up a finished album, I'm not sure yet.
I think it's a meeting of the two. I think the first album again was, I would say, very organic, and used a lot. It was a lot more about arrangements for the live songs and recording those live songs, and then adding studio touches. Whereas this has been, I guess, with the kind of more energetic stuff and even the more dancey stuff, if that's kind of allowed to say that. We have been using the studio to really kind of add sonic stuff to what's going on, and maybe kind of make that much more in the forefront, and kind of arrange our stuff around that, as opposed to kind of filling every gap with every instrument at the moment.
People pick on that quite a bit. They say that our recorded sound is slightly different from our live sound. I think there's a certain energy. It's quite, you know, you get that from a live experience, because you know it's a visual thing as well as an audio thing. So I think people seem to really buzz off at our live shows, which is a really, really good thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
we enjoy it. I guess that shows. I hope so.
I'm not so sure we're trying to capture that either. I think we see that there's so many different facets to this band. Even with the acoustic sessions, we kind of strip it right down, and we went on tour with Tumani Diabate, and that was obviously a very different thing for us to do, but it was just as much a part of what we do as when we've got all 7 of us. And it's also worth saying that we use Ableton Live with the live setup now, and we started kind of playing with click tracks to kind of allow us to bring some of the studio elements in the new songs into the live set. And I've actually found that quite freeing rather than constricting. It's enabled us to kind of add new kind of element to the live set.
I guess you can sort of meander off and always have that backbone there, maybe.
Yeah.
We don't use it that much.
we can meander off by accident.
We know quite a lot of bands that have done it and successfully done it, and it got to the point where we haven't got a record label behind us. Well, we have. It's our own label, and we needed to raise funds for a new album, and we've got a really, really great fan base, haven't we? A supportive fan base that have been with us for a number of years, and we knew that they would want to kind of get involved, and we thought that Pledge was a good way of doing that.
Yeah, we've always been about getting rid of that boundary at the front of the stage between the band on stage and the audience, and we've kind of involved a lot of audience in the Revere kind of project as it goes along. So our visuals guy, a guy called Ryan, he was literally an audience member who started getting in touch and sending us stuff, and then we kind of that developed into him now doing these amazing live visuals for us. And so the Pledge seemed like a logical step, and we knew someone who put us in touch with them directly and said they're based in England, and they're really behind artists kind of breaking down this model of having to have a label support and actually going straight to the fans with it. And we've been doing kind of gigs in our rehearsal room where we invite fans in and do these really intimate shows, and so it didn't seem like too much of a departure for us to then go straight back to the fans and go, listen, we want to get the second album done. And I think because there's so many people in the band, these sort of things always take a long time for us to finish projects, so having their support and having their involvement kind of means there's less of a kind of big gap in between this is one release, this is the next release, and they can get involved with the whole process. So then we're straight into the studio with everything we've put down already, and really go through it all and kind of make sure it's, I guess, go from the demo stage to these are now the finished tracks. But I mean, that often means just going in with the demo and then starting to replace stuff and get other people in. We might there's a few kind of guest musicians who've already been kind of written down as having an interest in wanting to be involved, so we're going to get them in, get the album recorded, get people in who've been pledging, get them in to come and sit in on sessions and see how it's all going. And we've got
singles out as well.
New single, yeah.
New single coming out in the next couple of weeks, I think. So that'll be one of the tracks off of the new album.
That's a song called "Keep This Channel Open," and then we've got another single coming out mid-September called "I Won't Blame You," and we're doing a video for that as well, which is I'm very excited about that as well. So it's all these kind of ongoing things. Amazing.
Oh my goodness.
I know what mine is. I'm obsessed with, I collect toy pianos, and I'm obsessed with the sound of Celesta. I think that has to be my favourite sound in the world. I don't know why. It's probably why I like Danny Elfman's music quite a bit. What's yours?
Water, probably. I love the water. I love the sea, so I'd say the sea. That's probably a lot of people will say that, but it's just so relaxing. I'm always happy when I'm living in water.
It's another theme of this new album, actually.
Yeah,
water. Yeah, well, definitely seaside.
Yeah.
I was going to say water as well. That's really weird because we both lived on a boat before, and the sound of the water was quite annoying. Like
It is when it's putting us to sleep.
I guess it must have had a good influence.
Yeah.